Part 104. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 1033. 1031. While He Tiantian was busy training, in distant Xiangjiang, two people were silently paying attention to He Tiantian. One is Tang Pingan. Because he couldn't love her, he would never see He Tiantian in his life, so he hid in Xiangjiang. He saw He Tiantian, as dazzling as a sunflower. It would be nice to watch her from a distance. Distance can produce beauty. In Tang Pingan's heart, the woman far away will always be so beautiful and outstanding in his heart. The other, however, was a woman reading a newspaper report. If He Tiantian sees this woman, she will definitely remember that this woman is the panicked woman she met in a restaurant near Nanji. Later, she asked someone to check, but they couldn't find it either. He Tiantian? Haha, if you have been hiding in Yanjing, I will definitely not be able to do anything to you, but it will be much easier if you go abroad. Over the years, she has been looking for opportunities to take revenge on He Tiantian. In the past, when she had no money or power, she could only become a tool for others. Now that she has money and power, problems that can be solved with money are no longer problems. Now she has control of her husband's company and factories in the mainland. As for the control process, haha, it just caused the man to have a car accident and now he became a vegetative state. As for the husband's ex-wife and children, they were all driven abroad. Now the entire Zhao family consists of her and her son. The woman spent money, and through the adulterer, the broker found an international killer who was ready to assassinate He Tiantian. Hire two groups of people to ensure nothing goes wrong. For this, the woman paid a lot of money. But she has plenty of money, but if she doesn't kill He Tiantian, no matter how much money she has, she won't feel happy. Although her current life is also due to her original escape, she suffered so much during that period, how could He Tiantian imagine it? Therefore, she will not thank He Tiantian. Instead, she used her hatred for He Tiantian to prove her success. Only death can let her vent her hatred. He Tiantian went to participate in the 1986 Asian Games. They lived up to expectations and won 7 gold medals and 2 silver medals. Others also achieved good results under the leadership of He Tiantian's high momentum. Sci-fi won the 800-meter freestyle championship. 11 Rong won the silver medal in the 400-meter freestyle and the bronze medal in the breaststroke. Lu Yuhua was not as fruitless as last time. She also won a silver medal in the 1,500-meter freestyle. Na Jiaolihong won 2 silver medals and a gold medal in the team relay. Without He Tiantian's performance comparison, she would feel that her grades were very good, but behind He Tiantian's halo, everyone else became dim. But in their hearts, everyone also admires He Tiantian. As long as the game is over, you can choose to return home. He Tiantian walked around Korea and found nothing particularly interesting, so she packed up and prepared to leave. But others still wanted to stay abroad for a while and watch the game, so He Tiantian just left with Kui Ying and Wei Yuan. This time, because He Daodu was still in the country, He Tiantian took Bai Qianjiu's private jet when he came back. After getting on the plane, He Tiantian felt a little depressed. She thought it was because of the hot weather and didn't care. However, after taking off, He Tiantian slept as usual. A handsome flight attendant walked back and forth several times, seeming to provide attentive service. He Tiantian sat inside and slept, while Wei Yuan was always on guard. Half an hour after taking off, He Tiantian had fallen asleep. Suddenly He Tiantian woke up from her dream, because after experiencing a huge vibration on the plane fell rapidly and encountered a storm again. The captain was also confused. He clearly checked the weather forecast today and found that there were no storms on this route. But the current storm is a bit strange. He Tiantian looked outside through the window, feeling a little nervous. Wei Yuan looked around cautiously, took out the parachute from under the seat, and quickly put it on He Tian Tian, and she also quickly put on the equipment. Kui Ying in the back is calculating, what is going on? Everything was fine when I traveled in the morning, but how could I encounter such a situation? Could it be that her divination skills no longer work? Kui Ying, hurry up and put on your parachute. We need to be ready for parachuting. Wei Yuan was a little nervous, but she still didn't forget to remind Kui Ying. Kui Ying couldn't do it, so Wei Yuan quickly tied it up for Kui Ying. Wei Yuan used the shortest time to explain the key points of skydiving to He Tian Tian and Kui Ying several times in a row. He Tian Tian was a little panicked. She just wanted to go home. How could something like this happen? If she died, what should Huo Yingjie do? Will you marry someone else? What to do with 3 children? What about my grandfather, my parents, my younger brother? Yuan, Kui Ying, can we go back alive? He Tian Tian was nervous, her eyes widened, and she would never fly again. It's so scary. There is no way to heaven, but there are 5 gates to the earth. Even if the skydiving is successful, there is a vast sea below. If you encounter a shark or other large marine life, it will be a dead end. Brother Yingjie, where are you? Come and save me, He Tian Tian shouted loudly in her heart, but she still followed Wei Yuan to the door of the warehouse and waited for the captain to say whether to skydive. But the captain never informed him. Wei Yuan was a little strange, and then went to the captain's room, where the captain had been killed. The stewardess also collapsed at the bathroom door. The handsome flight attendant held a gun in his hand and put it against Wei Yuan's head. Raise your hands. The man narrowed his eyes and said coldly. Wei Yuan had to raise her hands. If she didn't do it, the man would shoot. He, I just wasted bullets by teaching the people inside. Now I only have 2 bullets here. If you don't resist, I will kill those 2 people, and then how about we leave, the man said, as if talking to Wei Yuan same as chatting. Who are you? Why do you want to assassinate us? Wei Yuan asked. If I do what you say, can you really let me go? He Tian Tian and Kui Ying were stunned when they heard this. Obviously they couldn't believe their ears. Wei Yuan actually chose to betray at the critical moment? Of course. If you kill them, I will naturally let you go. The man smiled contemptuously. A bodyguard, a creature that rebels whenever it encounters danger. He Tian Tian was a little sad, and even forgot about her fear at this time. Wei Yuan nodded and said, I hope you will keep your word. That's natural, the man said, just use the knife in my hand. As he spoke, he threw Wei Yuan a sharp knife more than 20 centimeters long. Wei Yuan took the knife, turned around, looked at He Tian Tian and Kui Ying, and then gave Kui Ying a wink. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1034. 1032. Kui Ying and He Tian Tian were stunned. Immediately, they thought of the various cases they had discussed to rescue He Tian Tian, and one method was particularly suitable for this situation. Kui Ying did not look at Wei Yuan, but at the man, using her huge mental power to control the man's mental power. The moment Kui Ying blinked, Wei Yuan suddenly turned around and threw the knife in her hand directly at the man. On the forehead. Ah, the man yelled, and he instinctively dodged away in a hurry, but one of his ears was cut off by the knife, which was dripping with blood. At this moment, Wei Yuan immediately took 2 steps forward, raised her leg, and kicked the gun out of the man's hand. Seeing the gun in the man's hand fall to the ground, He Tian Tian was so strong that she grabbed the man's hand with both hands and twisted it back. Instead, she helped Wei Yuan restrain the man's hand. Wei Yuan took out the handcuffs and cuffed the man. Kui Ying, hurry up and put on your parachute. When we get to the right height, we will parachute, Wei Yuan said. At this time was urgent and she did not have time to interrogate the man who assassinated He Tian Tian. Oh, oh, Kui Ying agreed. Although Wei Yuan had taught her before, she didn't study carefully at the time. She didn't expect that one day she would actually use it. Now that the plane is destroyed, parachuting is the only way. The man struggled, trying to get close to He Tian again. Wei Yuan kicked the man twice more, causing the man to hunched over on the ground in pain, twitching, and shouting. He Tian and Kui Ying had already put on their parachutes, looking at each other with their hearts beating fast. Wei Yuan went to the captain's room and sent out a distress signal again, hoping that nearby merchant ships and warships could pass by and rescue them after they parachuted. Taking advantage of Wei Yuan's absence, He Tian held onto the object next to her, steadied her body, and asked, "Who asked you to kill me?" The man squinted his eyes when he heard He Tian's voice. The man doesn't want to die. He also wants to use the money to travel around the world. Views, beauties, dollars. If you die, there is nothing. However, he received the task from above, and he didn't know who hired him. But in order to survive, he can lie. Of course he is your enemy, the man said. His voice was a bit stiff. Although he had an Asian face, his accent sounded like he was not Chinese, but rather Korean or Japanese speaking Chinese. Enemy. He Tian was stunned. She may have offended some people in her life, but those frictions and hatreds were not enough to pay the price with her life. Puzzled. Seeing He Tian's behavior, Kui Ying reminded, "I heard from Yuan before that these killers accept tasks and don't know who the client is. He won't know who wants to assassinate you." He Tian thought for a while, and it seemed that this was the case. "So that's it," He Tian nodded. Although she didn't ask for the result, it also eased her inner panic. When the man saw this, he became a little anxious. He doesn't want to die. But he also knew the identity of his killer and had no position to ask the other party to give him a parachute. Wei Yuan came over, saw the man, and kicked him on the head. The man fainted. Dead and pulled down. Anyway, this man was a killer, and she killed him in self-defense. Wei Yuan had already made 3 temporary first aid kits, which contained some necessary pills, 2 bottles of water and 2 packs of biscuits. Only He Tian had the most complete items. There was also a small inflatable lifeboat on the plane, which was carried on Wei Yuan's back. Only she could handle these things. Wei Yuan and Kui Ying have better survival abilities than He Tian, so He Tian needs them more than they do. Unconsciously, the sound of alarms inside the plane reminded He Tian and others over and over again. There was still a storm outside, but it was less severe than before. Wei Yuan checked the height, and it was just right now. It's too low. If the parachute doesn't open and falls into the sea, you will be seriously injured. Okay, Tian, don't be afraid later. After you jump down, count 1, 2, and 3, and then pull the rope. Remember, Wei Yuan said, don't be afraid, I have already sent a distress signal, and I observed that there should be a sea ship passing by this location. We just need to jump into the water safely and wait for rescue. Kui Ying was also a little nervous. When she came out, Huashan said that she would have some minor troubles, but nothing major. It's a plane crash, it's not a big deal. If she didn't trust Huashan, Kui Ying would have suspected that Huashan wanted to change his wife. Kui Ying comforted He Tian and said, Tian, don't worry. When I came out, Huashan made a prediction. We will encounter some troubles, but we will be able to turn the corner. He Tian smiled bitterly, nodded and said, well, as long as there is a chance of survival, I will not give up, and so will you. They all have families, children, and lovers. Well, come on, Wei Yuan nodded, praying in her heart that she could survive. Wei Yuan opened the cabin door. The strong wind outside made the 3 of them stagger a little. The plane was shaking violently, making them unsteady. You jump first, and I will find your position later, Wei Yuan said. She has undergone formal skydiving training and can control the direction and speed. At the same time, it is easier for her to find He Tiantian and Kui Ying's position in the sky. Okay, Kui Ying nodded. Don't be afraid, Tiantian. Yeah, He Tiantian was a little excited, but she was even more nervous and scared. But she didn't want to drag down Wei Yuan and Kui Ying. At the same time, she also wanted to live, so she followed Wei Yuan and Kui Ying's words meticulously. Kui Ying jumped down first. He Tiantian closed her eyes and jumped down too. After counting to 3 in his mind, He Tiantian opened the parachute just out of the location of the storm. Not far from He Tiantian is Kui Ying. After all, Kui Ying is a cultivator. She used her parachute and her own energy to gradually control her body and get closer to He Tiantian. She hoped that when they fell into the water, they could be closer to He Tiantian. Wei Yuan from above also came down. Wei Yuan became more proficient and gradually moved closer to He Tiantian. Fortunately, the weather conditions improved a bit and the wind was no longer raging, allowing the 3 of them to breathe a sigh of relief. Just when Wei Yuan and Kui Ying were gradually approaching He Tiantian, the storm above their heads actually flew towards them. The dark clouds, mixed with thunder and lightning, swept towards them. This is strange to say. With He Tiantian in the middle, those dark clouds seemed to know He Tiantian, rushing straight towards He Tiantian's head. Kui Ying and Wei Yuan were both stunned. He Tiantian still didn't know why, she just thought that compared to falling into the sea, she still wanted to be in the air, at least there were no raptors in the sky for the time being. Because there are sharks and other large aquatic creatures in the sea. Tiantian, come down quickly, Wei Yuan reminded. Hurry up, Tiantian. Kui Ying was also anxious. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1035. Chapter 1035 just disappeared. 1033. The killer was targeting He Tiantian. Someone was taking revenge on He Tiantian. It was man-made and it is not difficult to understand. But now, a part of the storm suddenly stretched out, chasing He Tiantian, trying to devour He Tiantian, as if he had a grudge against He Tiantian. This is a natural phenomenon that puzzles them. Even if Kui Ying learned some techniques, she couldn't figure out what was going on. Very anxious. In mid-air, Wei Yuan had no time to get in front of He Tiantian. Kui Ying took out a dagger tied to her leg, cut off the parachute, used her skills, and flew towards He Tiantian. At this moment, she couldn't bear to hide it anymore. Not only to save He Tiantian, a good friend, but also to save her family and her sect. Kui Ying understood that the reason why she followed He Tiantian was because of Huo Yingjia's request. After receiving the skills given to their family by Huo Yingjia, Kui Ying must risk her life to protect He Tiantian. If something happened to He Tiantian, she couldn't explain it to Huo Yingjia. Huo Yingjia usually acts like a nice gentleman, but she understands the importance of He Tiantian in Huo Yingjia's heart. That is a very dangerous person, and He Tiantian is his weakness. Once something happens to He Tiantian, Huo Yingjia may do something shocking and terrifying. Use any means necessary to destroy heaven and earth. In Wei Yuan's shock, Kui Ying quickly flew towards He Tiantian. However, it was still a step too late. That dark cloud and storm gradually enveloped He Tiantian. Just when Kui Ying and Wei Yuan were shocked, He Tiantian's body seemed to become transparent, fading little by little until it disappeared. In broad daylight, a supernatural event happened in front of the two of them. Suddenly, there was silence between heaven and earth. The dark clouds are gone. The storm stopped. The sun is coming out. The sky is blue and blue, echoing the deep blue of the sea. From time to time there are birds flying over the sea, occasionally swooping down, picking up small fish out of the sea, and then flying into the sky. However, all this did not make Wei Yuan and Kui Ying happy. Where's Tian Tian? Kui Ying had arrived at the place where Tian Tian disappeared just now. She reached out to grab it, but she didn't touch anything, only the gentle sea breeze. Wei Yuan also widened her eyes, shook her head and said, disappeared. Not death, not falling into the sea, but disappearing before their eyes. Kui Ying had no place to focus on her feet and it was very difficult. She could only hold Wei Yuan's arm. Wei Yuan was very curious about Kui Ying's abilities, but now she was even more worried about Tianation's whereabouts. What should we do now? Kui Ying asked anxiously. We have to find Tian Tian. Wei Yuan was also very anxious, but there was nothing she could do in the vast sea. Especially Tian Tian disappeared in such a strange way. Kui Ying, who are you? Wei Yuan used to think that Kui Ying was a powerful person, but she didn't expect that she was so powerful and could fly in the air. Kui Ying smiled bitterly and said, I won't hide it from you, I am a Taoist. But there are very few Taoists in the world, and this is the Dharma ending age, so cultivation is very difficult, so I haven't achieved much. Oh my gosh, being able to fly in the sky is not a great achievement, right? You are already very powerful, I can't compare to you. Wei Yuan sighed, she couldn't do this after so much training. Kui Ying smiled bitterly and said, let's not talk about this matter anymore. I will tell you when I have the opportunity in the future. Now let's think about how to find Tian Tian. How to contact the outside world. Kui Ying said as she took out the compass from her arms with her other hand. It didn't matter. The pointer on the compass kept jumping wildly, as if it was break dancing. Clearly disturbed. Kui Ying couldn't analyze what was going on. These were beyond her knowledge, so she was eager to contact the outside world and ask her father, uncle, and even Huo Yingzhe to come and find Tian Tian. Huo Yingzhe is so powerful, he must be able to get Tian Tian back. Wei Yuan frowned and said, I have already sent out the distress signal, and I have also sent out the distress signal unique to our department. I think we will be rescued soon. That's good. Kui Ying nodded. In that case, Huo Yingzhe might be able to get the news in the shortest possible time. Then what should we do now? Will it fall into the water later and keep floating in the water? No, I brought an inflatable lifeboat, which is enough for the three of us. Now. Wei Yuan was a little sad and disappointed. This mission failed. If something happened to Tian Tian, she would definitely feel guilty. Hearing this, Kui Ying was slightly relieved that she no longer had to stay in the water. After a while, Kui Ying and Wei Yuan fell into the water. Wei Yuan took it out of the backpack at the back and quickly inflated it, and an inflatable lifeboat appeared in front of her. Wei Yuan and Kui Ying climbed up, breathing heavily. They can take a break for the time being, hoping that there won't be strong winds or rain. The two of them just stared at the sky silently, hoping that Tian Tian would appear in front of them like a dream. It was a hot day and the sun was scorching the two people in the lifeboat. However, neither of them dared to be careless and pay attention to their surroundings. Waiting anxiously. Where did Tian Tian go? Kui Ying had seen some formations before, but they were all blinding methods and could never make a living person disappear in front of her eyes. The sun gradually set, and although it brought with it the intense heat, it also took away the light, and it became dark. Wei Yuan and Kui Ying are praying that there will be no large fish. I was hungry, so I took out 2 biscuits and ate them. I drank 2 mouthfuls of water and didn't dare to eat or drink more. They didn't know how long they would be at sea, so they had to economize. Let's say that when the captain was held hostage by gangsters, he had already sent a distress signal before he died, and Wei Yuan also sent it. Now this is not China's waters. It was hoped that a nearby ship could rescue them. Let's talk about being loyal to the rescue. After receiving the distress signal, we quickly locked the longitude and latitude of the accident. Especially when we found out that it was the private plane of the wealthy Chinese-American businessman Bai Qianjiao, we quickly contacted the ships passing nearby, hoping that they would go for help. Bai Qianjiao got news that if he rescued someone, he would be rewarded with $10 million, so someone was willing to come over. The country received Wei Yuan's rescue signal and hurriedly launched search and rescue operations. Moreover, the signal Kui Ying sent to the country through special channels was not given by the state. With the current power of the state, it is not possible for the time being. It was a jade pendant given to her by Huo Yingzhe. At that time, Huo Yingzhe carefully told her that if there was a crisis, she could use this to notify him. So when Kui Ying crushed the jade pendant, Huo Yingzhe, who was doing experiments at the Yanjing Institute of Materials, felt dizzy, and his brain felt like being pricked by needles. Huo Yingzhe closed his eyes, and a scene appeared in his mind that made his heartbeat increase rapidly. Under the dark clouds with thunder and lightning, He Tian disappeared. 5 chapters have been updated. Today there are a total of 15 chapters. Please subscribe to the official version. Oh, mathematical intersection symbol. Mathematical intersection symbol, oh, thank you for your support. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1036. 1034. Then Huo Yingzhe remembered that Kui Ying was beside He Tian, and he had a ray of spiritual thought on Kui Ying. In this way, he could see everything that happened before through Kui Ying's eyes. All the information poured into Huo Yingzhe's mind in an instant. He Tian disappeared? In the eyes of others, it means disappearing for no reason. But in Huo Yingzhe's eyes, he understood that his wife was attracted by an inexplicable strange magnetic field and entered another realm. In that barrier, someone was calling He Tian. Such speculation shocked Huo Yingzhe. "Mr. Huo, what's wrong with you?" the assistant beside him reminded him in a low voice when he saw that Huo Yingzhe was lost in thought during the experiment. Now is not the time to be lost in thought. Huo Yingzhe was stunned for a moment, and then he noticed that this was a laboratory, not at home, and he was not alone. Now that Tian has gone to other realms, she will be very scared. He wants to go there to find Tian. My thinking is a little confused. You can continue the experiment and pay attention to safety, Huo Yingzhe said, put down the beaker in his hand and walked to Zhou Yuanxiao. Yuanxiao, come here, I have something to ask you. Before leaving, Huo Yingzhe had to make some preparations. Zhou Yuanxiao was a little strange, but he couldn't ask in front of everyone. After all, Huo Yingzhe had said before that they wanted to go to the office together. Okay, I'll come right away, Zhou Yuanxiao said, putting down the things in his hands and following Huo Yingzhe to the office. When he arrived at the office, Huo Yingzhe looked a little unhappy. Boss, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? Zhou Yuanxiao asked, a little concerned. Now that we can deal with the key issues of the project, the boss cannot fall ill. Zhou Yuanxiao is just an ordinary person, and Huo Yingzhe doesn't plan to tell him about this to avoid worrying him. It's okay, it's just that I haven't been feeling well these days, Huo Yingzhe said. You should do the main experiments in the past few days yourself, and I'll just observe from the side. When Zhou Yuanxiao heard this, he winked and asked with a smile, Boss, do you miss your sister-in-law? Haha, think about it, Huo Yingzhe said happily. Okay, you can lead everyone's work well. Yes, boss, Zhou Yuanxiao nodded. Boss, if you are not feeling well now, then go home quickly and have a good rest. Only when you are in good health can you work well. Now we have seniors above us and young ones below, so nothing can happen to us. Well, I know what you are saying, Huo Yingzhe agreed. If Tian could not be rescued, their warm and happy home would cease to exist. Zhou Yuanchao is now responsible for all the work of the Materials Research Institute. Huo Yingzhe hurried home. Grandma Wang was curious, but she heard that Huo Yingzhe was not feeling well and called the family doctor over. Huo Yingzhe used some random excuses to fool him. At this time, Huo Yingzhe did not care about violating human nature. When he was alone in the room, he released his previous energy and powerful power. Huashan and Kui Ying are husband and wife. When something happened to Kui Ying, Huashan also sensed it and hurriedly came to find Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe has used magic to make a clone of Huo Yingzhe, who stays at home and travels between home and work. The little spinner turtle also felt uneasy. "Master, has something happened to the madam?" the little turtle asked, his tone a little urgent. Huo Yingzhe did not hide the little turtle, nodded and said, "Yes, something happened, but there should be no fear of life now. I will go to her right away, and the children and relatives at home will be left to you. I left the clone here. Yes, I am transformed by a ray of essence and blood, and can handle small things in daily life, but I am not strong in combat, so I can only rely on you to protect the children and family. Can't I follow to save the lady?" The little spinner turtle was a little disappointed. It also wanted to go and save the lady personally. "Thank you." Huo Yingzhe stretched out his hand and touched the little turtle's head. "I'll go to madam's side. There are 3 of our children here, and they are 3 people more important than my life and madam's. If we leave it to I don't trust others, but I trust you." Hearing this, the little spinner turtle felt a little proud. It was indeed the turtle that the owner and his wife trusted the most. "Well, I've written it down, master. I will protect the 3 little masters," the little turtle said, as if he had received an important order. "Okay, I will reward you well when you come back." Huo Yingzhe nodded. As he said before, he felt more at ease leaving the child to the little turtle than to anyone else. "I hope everything is safe and sound at home during his absence." "Yingzhe, I feel that something happened to Kui Ying," Huashan said. "They are husband and wife. They practice a kind of skill. If one party is in trouble, the other party will definitely feel it." Huo Yingzhe nodded and said, "They did have an accident. The plane crashed. Kui Ying is not seriously injured, but Tian Tian is missing." "Disappeared?" Huashan was surprised. How could he disappear for no reason? "Maybe I mistakenly entered the barrier set by others." Huo Yingzhe replied briefly, "I have made preparations at home. We can set off now." "Enchantment? Oh my God, that's something recorded in ancient books, and it's long been lost now. But now is not the time to study the barrier. We must first find He Tian Tian, Kui Ying and their group. Let's say that this crash has caused an uproar internationally, and the country has also received the news, and after confirming the personal information on the plane, they were dumbfounded. He Tian Tian is the winner of 7 Asian Games Championship gold medals. She is also the granddaughter of patriotic overseas Chinese. Most importantly, she is the granddaughter-in-law of a country with outstanding achievements. Her husband is very famous. He is the youngest materials scientist in China. Expert, the youngest academician. The staff did not dare to delay. After verifying the information, they immediately reported it to the leadership. The leader did not dare to delay when he got the report. So it was reported layer by layer. The people above made the decision to look for He Tian Tian at all costs. Anyone who knew Huo Yingzhe knew the importance of He Tian Tian to Huo Yingzhe. They did not notify Huo Yingzhe immediately. Instead, they contacted the H country merchant ship that passed through, or even the nearest country, and asked them to try their best to rescue him. After that, several rows of warships sailed out from Weihai Way to the Bohai Bay and the East China Sea to conduct military exercises and take the opportunity to find He Tian Tian. But here, they couldn't hide it for long. After learning that a foreign merchant ship had found Kui Ying and Wei Yuanyuan, they immediately informed Huo Yingzhe. However, Huo Yingzhe was just a clone at this time. Even though he was a clone, Huo Yingzhe was very sad and strongly requested to find He Tiantian in person, but the superiors did not approve it. They will rescue He Tiantian at all costs. At the same time, the country does not want anything to happen to Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe had no intention of working and could only wait silently at home with his children. Please subscribe for genuine subscription. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1037. 1035. When the family heard the news, they were very anxious. Even as a child, he didn't know what was going on, but he could feel the depressing atmosphere at home. But that was on the vast sea. They were just ordinary people and could only wait. This was exactly what Huo Yingzhe had expected. That's fine, at least Huo Yingzhe can go and rescue He Tiantian with peace of mind. That night, Huo Yingzhe Huashan had already arrived at the place where the accident occurred. As for Huashan, they spent money to hire a salvage team to find Kui Ying. Since the exact location was known, the ship came directly. It's just that there is wind and water on the sea. After half a day of drifting on the sea, it has left its previous position. Huo Yingzhe found it quickly based on the consciousness he had left on Kui Ying. The speedboat from Huashan came directly according to Huo Yingzhe's prompts, and finally found Kui Ying and Wei Yuan floating on the water at 9 o'clock in the night. Kui Ying didn't care about throwing herself into her husband's arms for comfort. She looked at Huo Yingzhe and said anxiously, "Yingzhe, the three of us have successfully parachuted, but the dark cloud seemed to know Tiantian, and it just enveloped Tiantian, and then Tiantian's sweetness actually disappeared into the air." "Well, I understand." Huo Yingzhe nodded. "The rest of the matter is not something you can solve. You continue to pretend to look for Tiantian and handle the follow-up matters. I will go find Tiantian myself." After saying that, Huo Yingzhe didn't waste a moment and rushed into the air like a sharp sword. Wei Yuan was stunned. Kui Ying's magic has already shocked her. She didn't expect Huo Yingzhe to have so many magic. At this time, Huashan walked up to Wei Yuan and hit Wei Yuan hard on the back of the head. He took the opportunity to eliminate the unreasonable images of Huo Yingzhe and Kui Ying in Wei Yuan's mind, leaving instead images of assassinations and plane crashes. As for the other people on the ship, Huashan also dealt with them to avoid future troubles. He Tiantian was shrouded in dark clouds and storms. She originally thought it would be painful, but she didn't feel any pain at all. Instead, she felt as if her side was wrapped in a thick layer of cotton and was being sucked to another place by a suction force. Just when He Tiantian was curious and wanted to take a closer look, she actually fell from the sky. He Tiantian was startled. She was finished. With such a free fall speed, she fell to the ground and probably turned into a meat pie. Bang! With a loud noise, He Tiantian's originally wrinkled parachute opened completely, saving He Tiantian's life at the critical moment. He Tiantian's descent in the air became slower, which made her slightly relieved that she would not fall into pieces for the time being. Falling slowly, He Tiantian lowered her head, and then she had the energy to see what was going on around her. Seeing this, I was dumbfounded again. She is obviously on top of the endless ocean? How come we are on an island on land now? Did this island appear out of thin air? Why is she here? He Tiantian was puzzled and a little anxious. What on earth is this place? Brother Yingzhe, when will you come to save me? Because of fear, He Tiantian's tears flowed down in frustration. What on earth is this place? Even though the parachute slowed down He Tiantian's fall, the height was limited, but He Tiantian still landed on the ground, and it was still a sea of flowers, full of beautiful flowers, and such a large area was all the same kind of flowers. He Tiantian struggled to get out from under the parachute, took off the parachute on her back, and began to observe her surroundings. When He Tiantian saw the flowers and the sea of flowers clearly in front of her, she was stunned. These flowers seemed familiar to her, as if she had seen them somewhere. Oops, my head hurts a little. He Tian sat on the paved parachute to rest. She was a little hungry, so she ate a few biscuits and drank some water. Maybe it was because eating something calmed down He Tian's nervousness. He Tian started to think seriously at this time. This is a barrier. After all, she follows Huo Yingzhe and often enters the barrier, so she has some understanding of the barrier. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain why it was clearly on the sea and suddenly on land. Thinking of this, although He Tian was a little scared, she was no longer anxious. What she has to do now is to wait for Huo Yingzhe to save her. Although the sea of flowers was nice to see and fragrant, it was on a plain. If a beast came over, she wouldn't even have a place to hide. So He Tian packed up the parachute and carried it behind her back. Although it is tiring and heavy, this thing can be used to set up a tent at night and cannot be thrown away casually. This sea of flowers was estimated to be about 10 acres of land. He Tian finally reached the edge, but she saw an animal that looked like a leopard rushing toward her, wandering near the sea of flowers. He Tian backed away repeatedly. She was too anxious, retreated into the sea of flowers, and sat down on the ground. When she originally thought she was going to be the leopard's dinner, He Tian discovered that the leopard did not pounce on her, but was staring at He Tian from the edge of the sea of flowers. He Tian was a little confused. After a while, another big python came, but it also stopped not far away and did not approach the sea of flowers. Gradually, several dangerous creatures came to stay around, but they had one thing in common: they were all staring at them, but none of them pounced on them. He Tian vaguely understood that these dangerous animals were afraid of the sea of flowers. Since those ferocious beasts did not dare to come, she would camp in the middle of the sea of flowers and wait for Huo Yingzhe's rescue. He Tian found a few wooden sticks nearby and set up a parachute to use as a temporary tent to provide shade and wind protection for the time being. A little tired, He Tian smelled the fragrance of flowers and fell asleep unconsciously. In a dream, He Tian dreamed of a sea of flowers, just like the sea of flowers she saw today. They are all beautiful sea flowers. Yes, this is 11 Yuhua. A woman dances and sings in the sea of flowers. The continuous rain on the green mountains passes through the rainbow and white clouds. The falling flowers all over the sky blur whose eyes. Looking up at the blue sky, drinking wine as a song to the smiling face. The wind blows in the lotus pond, the flowers are whirling and the leaves are round. The feeling of having a close friend by my side will always be engraved in my heart. Who holds endless vows in his ears? I don't know whose face is shy. Sometimes the raindrops and the lingering nostalgia. The picturesque heaven and earth. He Tian could feel the joyful mood of the woman among the flowers, as if she was that woman. The man made a hairpin made of cherishing feather flowers. After he shed blood and recognized the woman as his master, the hairpin stayed on the woman's head. At this time, He Tian saw the face of this woman clearly. She was wearing elegant ancient clothes. As for that man, it was Huo Yingzhe. Or it can be said that it is the god of Changling. He Tian couldn't tell whether it was a dream or reality, so she just fell asleep. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1038. Chapter 1038. I'll wait for you. 1036. Wild beasts roared from time to time around the sea of flowers, but no one dared to come in. This also allows He Tian to stay in the sea of flowers with peace of mind. In her heart and in her dreams, she prayed over and over again, hoping that Huo Yingzhe or the god of Changling could come to save her. Half asleep and half awake, He Tian's dusty memories gradually became clearer. Although they were still intermittent, there were many more memories than before, and they could gradually be connected into pieces and become memories one by one. In the dark night, a tall figure walked vaguely from a distance. Yes, it's a human figure, but it's taller than the average human figure. Because of the approach of this figure, the beasts that were originally guarding He Tian felt the aura that frightened them, and fled like birds and beasts, not daring to stay any longer. Although the meat on the woman in the sea of flowers is more delicious, with this fierce and powerful being, they don't have a share. But at this time, He Tian was heartless and could still fall asleep. There was a dark shadow on the side, but it was obvious that this piece of Ziuhua also had a great influence on him. However, he didn't care at all when the pain hit him and walked straight over. Walked to He Tian and squatted down gently. He stretched out his cold hand and gently touched He Tian's face. Because it was too cold, He Tian woke up. He Tian opened her eyes and found a dark shadow in front of her. She thought it was a beast charging towards her. I have no meat, don't eat me. He Tian forgot that the beast cannot speak until its intelligence is developed. However, what surprised He Tian was that the pain he imagined did not appear, and the black figure did not have the aura of a beast. Instead, it was still squatting there as at the beginning, motionless, like a human being. There was no danger for the time being, so He Tian asked softly, "Who are you? Why do you appear here?" "To wait for you," the shadow said softly, and his voice was very cold, but there was unspeakable waiting and emotion in the voice. Wait for her? He Tian was stunned and couldn't believe it. What happened today was beyond her knowledge. She has no friends abroad, and she has a friend with a mysterious enchantment. "Who are you?" He Tian asked, "do we know each other?" The black shadow said nothing, then stood up gently. He Tian was a little scared and took a few steps back. Who is this person? It was so scary at night. Because at this time, He Tian had already noticed that the beasts around him had disappeared. It was probably because this person was scared away, which proved that this person was more powerful than those beasts. "Who are you?" He Tian was a little flustered. "Since you are waiting for me, you should know me. Have we met?" After a while, before He Tian ran out of patience, Ying finally said slowly, "I am Mo Ye." Mo Ye? He Tian was stunned. What kind of name is this? But there is a devil in his name, so he is probably not a good person. He Tian said solemnly, "I can tell you with certainty that I don't know anyone named Mo Ye." Hearing He Tian's words, Ying was startled and sneered, "As long as that person is around, when have you ever looked at me? When will you remember me?" "Ah!" He Tian was surprised. Hearing this man's tone, he seemed to be filled with sadness, as if she had failed him. But she doesn't know this person. It's really sad. I don't know when the inexplicable love debt left behind. What should I do? He Tian didn't want to irritate this dangerous person. Maybe there are some misunderstandings between us. Misunderstanding? Black Shadow sneered. You can always inadvertently trample a piece of my sincerity to the ground, and you will step on it a few more times. Ah! So artistic. He Tian scratched her head and continued, "Don't be excited, don't be excited, impulsiveness is the devil, let's talk it over if we have something to say. I hope it can delay time. Huo Yingja, please come quickly. If you don't come over, your wife will be snatched away by others." He Tian didn't know what to say. Although she didn't know why this person said this, she didn't dare to irritate the shadow. Actually, love is just a passing cloud. No, love and love are never fleeting. It's just that I am a cloud in your eyes, not worth mentioning. Even for that man, you would rather die than die by my knife. Ying was a little excited and took a few steps forward, approaching He Tian. He Tian stepped back again. Could it be that she had died in the hands of this person? That would be even scarier. Under the pressure of the black shadow, some fragments appeared in Hitianation's mind. A man in a black brocade robe watched the woman dancing indifferently from a distance. His whole body was cold, but there was some warmth in his blue eyes. But when he saw the man not far away from the woman, his eyes became cold again. He is also the darling of this world, why can't he win Yuna's heart? Why does Yuna only have eyes for that man? He can tolerate it now. If one day, he can't bear it anymore and he can't get it, then he will destroy it. All destroyed. He Tian was speechless. Is this the memory of her previous life? This man is a super scary leader. If a girl doesn't like him, he will destroy the girl he loves, including himself. It's really scary. Calm down, he Tian said slowly, I seem to have some impression. Can you tell me why you are here? Moye did not approach He Tian, but stood where he was and whispered, do you remember that hairpin? When my soul was annihilated, it saved a wisp of my soul, and then we came here. After tens of thousands of years here, it finally recovered. 11 Yahuwah's hairpin? The hairpin with her essence and blood. Is that hairpin with you? He Tian asked, changing the subject and trying to delay time. It would be great if it was here, but it's broken. I buried it here, and I didn't expect such a large piece of 11 Yahuwah to grow. Moye said, I have been waiting for you for countless days and nights. As long as you come back, you will come here sooner or later. He Tian was dumbfounded. Can it be like this? How can you be sure that I can come here? He Tian asked, I almost died in the plane crash just now. You won't die, Moye said, he had missed her once, but he would hurt her a second time. Then tell me, how did I get here? He Tian was more curious about this. If she still had this bad fate, now that it was finally sorted out, she would find a suitable opportunity to make a break. So many years have passed, don't be obsessed with it. It's time to let it go. Moye smiled and said, because there is a little bit of your blood and hairpin on the hairpin, this piece has a little bit of your soul, forming the sea of flowers. As long as you get close to here, you will be attracted by the sea of flowers. The low voice is full of magnetism. I have to admit that this voice is very nice. I heard that Rui, who has a nice voice, is also very good looking. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1039. 1037. Huo Yingji sensed the moment something happened to He Tian. At the same time, in the distant demon world, the Snake King who had given the essence of water in his body to He Tian also felt that something happened to He Tian. The essence of water has been eroded and oppressed by external forces. The Snake King can feel it. At the same time, the Snake King also feels that the essence of water has grown a lot. It can be seen that He Tian often comes into contact with water and can get pleasure in the water, which is why he has such a result. Since the Snake King used the space barrier opened by Huo Yingji to leave, he has left behind his precious water essence. On the one hand, I am grateful to He Tian for supporting each other over the years. On the other hand, I also leave a thought for myself. Maybe he could come back. If Huo Yingji can't protect He Tian, then let him do it. Maybe his abilities are not as powerful as Huo Yingji's, but he is willing to fight with his own life. Let's say that after the Snake King returned to the demon world, he happened to fall into the lair of the black bear spirit. Huo Yingji, you are just a despicable person, the Snake King cursed. The injuries on his body have not healed yet. Although he has a lot of energy in his body after the tribulation, the injuries on his body also affect his performance. He knew that Huo Yingji would not let him take it easy in the demon world. Once you get back, there's going to be a fight. The land of northern wasteland is surrounded by mountains and woods on one side, and the sea on the other, with a huge dense forest as the boundary in the middle. On the other side of the forest, near the mountain, is the territory of the black bear spirits, where tens of thousands of black bear spirits live. On the other side, on the island near the sea, is the habitat of the Spirit Snake clan. The Black Bear clan and the Spirit Snake clan have been entrenched here tens of millions of years ago, fighting with each other, and one is declining. Because the sons of the Spirit Snake King and the Black Bear King were killed in the previous battle, both sides suffered heavy losses, but neither side was able to launch a counter-attack, so they could only retreat to their territories to recuperate. The Snake King returned, and he still carried the pressure of the masses, making the entire Black Bear territory become restless, and they gathered towards the place where the Snake King appeared. When they saw the Snake King, they were stunned. Especially the old people who had seen the Black Bear King and the Spirit Snake Prince fighting together were startled. Instead of surrounding him immediately, they looked around to see if they could find the greatest Black Bear King. But they were disappointed, only the Spirit Snake Prince. "Where is our king?" a tall and strong black bear spirit shouted loudly, "Tell me, where is our king?" The Snake King wanted to say, "Your king has been killed by me a long time ago," but when he saw another new Black Bear King not far away approaching, he had a plan in mind and was ready to sow discord and said, "Ha ha, your king will naturally be killed by me. It's sealed in another barrier. Do you really want your king to come back? That's our omnipotent King Seongben. Please put our king back quickly, otherwise you will die now." This stupid big bear didn't even look at the situation nearby. The black bear spirits around him had slowly distanced themselves from him, as if they didn't recognize him. There is only one king for a race. The previous king did not come back to defeat the current king, so they can only obey the current king. However, this once loyal subordinate of King Seongben has never been reused by the new king, so he has always hoped that King Seongben could come back. "Haha, if you let me go, I will put your King Seongben back." King Snake laughed, but his heart was not as calm as it appeared. The reason why the Spirit Snake clan has not destroyed the Black Bear spirit for tens of millions of years is because as long as they set foot here, their skills seem to be suppressed by a force and can only exert half of their power. Similarly, the Black Bear spirit has arrived. Spirit Snake Island will be like this too. Because of this reason, no racial group truly occupies the other's territory. The object they compete for is the forest between the two territories, where abundant food can be obtained. During the truce period, even if the two clansmen see each other, they will not go beyond the middle mark. They will only stare and curse, but they will not take action. However, if it is during the fighting period, as long as they see each other, they will fight to the death. Two very strange groups. However, this is also in line with the development requirements of nature. War will lead to death and survival of the fittest. Too many spirits will affect the appearance of the forest. Therefore, after the war, there will be fewer spirits and less prey in the forest, giving the forest time to recuperate. Seong Chuang, shut up. Seong Wu, the new bear king behind, shouted angrily, "Now that this kid appeared in our territory during the truce, what we have to do now is to kill him and avenge the old bear king." Not a word was said about bringing the old bear king back. When the old Seong king came back, Seong Wu's status was not guaranteed, so he naturally didn't want to mention it. But what will happen to the old bear king if we kill him? Seong Zhuang was anxious, worried that it would be too late. If he killed the Spirit Snake Prince, he would never get news from the old bear king again. The new bear king, Seong Wu, was furious. If he had known it, he would have killed Seong Zhuang. In front of so many people, he couldn't say such unkind words. "Seong Zhuang, are you questioning me?" Seong Wu, the new bear king, sneered and looked at Seong Zhuang coldly. "But shut up," the new bear king Seong Wu scolded. "Spirit Snake has always been cunning. Even if we ask, he may not tell the truth. Kill him and extract his spiritual consciousness directly, and we will know the correct answer. What you have to do now is kill him, don't you understand me?" The Snake King took advantage of their argument and hurriedly used the secret method of the Spirit Snake clan to repair the scars on his body and accumulate energy. There is no way to escape, and a battle is inevitable. By the time the Black Bear Spirit over there had discussed it, the Snake King had almost repaired it. "Little thing, today is the day you die," the new Bear King Xiongwu scolded fiercely, holding two huge axes, and struck at the Snake King. The Snake King was in a hurry and could only avoid it. However, the Snake King discovered that his body's energy was not bound by the Black Bear Spirit's secret realm, and he could exert his power at will without being suppressed. This inference reassured the Snake King. He might not be able to win in front of so many Black Bear Spirits, but there was no problem in escaping. But before escaping, he must collect some interest, and he can't just run away in despair. "This is what you asked for, a war, so let's do it," the Snake King said arrogantly, without any consciousness that he broke into the Black Bear Spirit's territory first. Sure enough, the Snake King's words made the new Bear King Xiongwu and the other Black Bear Spirits become furious and rush towards the Snake King. The Snake King jumped up and flew into the air, turning clouds and rain in the air. With the exertion of his spiritual power, the raindrops agglomerated and turned into large ice cubes and hailstones, which fell from the sky. The hailstones carrying the Snake King's spiritual power hit countless Black Bear Spirits below. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1040. 1038. They had never seen such a formation of Black Bear Spirits before. There was a commotion and they held their heads to avoid the hail. The Snake King took the opportunity to strike and hit the new Bear King Xiongwu, causing Xiongwu to be seriously injured. The Black Bear Spirits were in chaos and wanted to launch an offensive against the Snake King in the air, but they could not effectively organize themselves under the hail, not to mention that their new Bear King had been seriously injured. Seeing this, the Snake King used the secret method of the Spirit Snake clan, and in an instant, he left the territory of the Black Bear Spirit and fled in the direction of the thousands of forests. "Catch him and kill him!" The new Bear King Xiongwu roared angrily, and the Black Bear Spirits behind him rushed forward. Just when the Black Bear Spirits were chasing the Snake King, Xiongzhuang did not follow them, but came to the seriously injured new Bear King Xiongwu and said coldly, "How does it feel to be the Bear King?" When the new Bear King saw that there was only one little bear spirit beside him, he realized something was wrong. He was a little scared and wanted to summon his subordinates to come back, but it was already too late. Xiongzhuang came to the new Bear King and used his most exquisite magic power to kill the Black Bear King. "Ha ha ha, I am the Black Bear King," Xiongzhuang said. "He will become the most noble king of the Black Bear clan." The other little bear spirits didn't dare to make a mistake. Seeing that the Bear King was dead, they quickly came over and surrendered. The Snake King was very fast and flew past the limit in the middle of the forest. He could finally relax. The spirit snake guarding the border heard the noise and thought it was the Black Bear Spirit attacking again. So before he could figure out the situation, he started blowing his horn and began to prepare for battle. But when they saw the glittering golden spirit snake appearing in front of them, they were all surprised. Only their once invincible spirit snake prince could have such a stature and pressure. "Are you a prince?" the low-level spirit snake below asked cautiously. "I just had a fight with Xiongben, don't you recognize me?" Snake King said. "Okay, Xiongben is dead. I'm back, forming a line to resist the invasion of the Black Bear Spirit." "Yes, Prince." The little guys below were very excited. Their prince was indeed invincible. They all thought that the prince and the Black Bear King had died together, but the prince was back, and they no longer had to be bullied by the Black Bear Spirit. The Spirit Snake clan was already prepared. The Black Bear Spirit caught up with them, and the two parties began to fight. However, because the Black Bear Spirit did not have the Bear King to take the lead, the offensive was not fierce. On the contrary, the Spirit Snake tribe was extremely excited because of the appearance of the Snake King. Moreover, the Snake King could deal with the powerful Black Bear Spirit, so the spirit snake tribe's attack was not fierce. The edges at the top. The black bear spirits were retreating steadily, and the spirit snake clan was pressing forward step by step. They were about to drive the black bear spirits out of the forest. They couldn't defeat the Snake King, so they had to come back with their men. The Spirit Snake clan did not dare to approach the territory of the Black Bear Spirit anymore, so they could only hunt the gifts in the forest on the Black Bear Spirit's side and bring them back. After the Black Bear Spirits came back, they saw the dead Xiong Wu, and Xiong Zhuang became the Bear King. Xiong Zhuang's self-proclaimed Bear King was unconvinced by others, so the Black Bear Spirit began to fight within themselves, fighting for the position of Bear King, which consumed their internal strength. After learning about their situation, the Snake King sighed inwardly. Human beings are so powerful, they can actually think of such an idea. This trip to the human world is not in vain. Not only have I increased my skills, but I have also learned the intrigues of humans. At the same time, he also fell in love with the kindness and gentleness of human beings. The Snake King admitted that he thought of He Tian Tian again. Hey, there is no destiny. The border defense is set up here, and the Snake King returns to Spirit Snake Island. On the sea, I met the Spirit Snake King who came over for reinforcements, as well as those useless sisters and brothers. Father, the Snake King came down from the sky and landed on the Spirit Snake ship. Ah, the Spirit Snake King was stunned, but he was very shocked when he saw his son come back safely. In his heart, his son had already perished with the Black Bear Xiong Ben in that battle. I'm Li Xian, Snake King said, I'm not dead, I'm back. Son, you are my son. The Spirit Snake King was excited, you are finally back, so I don't have to fight anymore. When the Snake King heard this, he jumped up in anger. When he came back, his father did not say welcome, but showed concern for him and let him fight as soon as he came home. But thinking about the family, there are several older sisters who only know how to dress up and are not good at martial arts. There is only an old father in charge of the family, which is indeed a bit difficult. As for her mother, when she's not pregnant, she's laying eggs, hatching them, and raising children. The Black Bear Spirit clan has been defeated by me, the Snake King said, it's in chaos now. The loot will be delivered later. Let's go back. Brother, 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 brother. Several sisters, and brothers pushed past their old father and ran to the Snake King. It was great that Li Xian was here. They didn't have to go to the battlefield and soil their clothes and shoes. Okay, let's talk about it when we go back, the Snake King said. Father, don't cry. I see that we are in a truce with the Black Bear Spirit now. We should not suffer any loss. The Spirit Snake King led his son into the cabin and said, if you don't suffer a big loss, you will suffer a lot because I have to go to war every time, which consumes a lot of money, and I don't have time to practice. Because of your disappearance, the Red Spirit Snake clan, the relationship with our clan is a bit delicate. They are unwilling to contribute, maybe they are unwilling to contribute to me. They probably think that I will die on the battlefield soon. Your brothers and sisters are not capable enough to be the Spirit Snake King. Prepare to have a good relationship with the next Spirit Snake King. The Snake King had thought that his father would be under great pressure after he left, but he did not expect the situation to be so serious. It seems that he will have to take good care of his ineffective younger brothers and sisters in the future. The Red Spirit Snake clan has gone too far, the Snake King said. How could they live a stable life without us protecting the Red Spirit Snakes all these years? The Red Spirit Snake clan is not good at fighting, but they are good at medicine and have strong fertility, so they have been intermarrying with the Spirit Snake clan. Hey, the Spirit Snake King smiled bitterly, don't be angry. This is human nature and it's not a big deal. If I were the leader of the Red Spirit Snake, I would do the same thing. Father, when I come back, I will definitely teach my younger brothers and sisters and let them work hard to learn skills, the Snake King said. Father, you can also practice in seclusion. Well, that's very good. The Spirit Snake King was very pleased. Since you disappeared, your mother has been crying and her health is not as good as before. This time there are only 5 eggs. Upon hearing this, the Snake King's mouth twitched. Hey, I'm so sad, but I still don't forget to lay eggs. Let's not talk about it anymore. My father and mother have a good relationship, which is not bad. At least we don't have to worry about them breaking up. The Snake King could only comfort himself at this time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1041. 1039. The sisters outside were all waiting anxiously outside, wanting to talk to their brother. But my brother was always with his father and had no time to pay attention to them. But it doesn't matter. When their brother comes back, they don't have to train hard and go out to fight since they have his support. When we arrived at Spirit Snake Island, the spirit snakes waiting on the island were a little dumbfounded. Didn't the Spirit Snake King go to fight? Why are you back so soon? Did it fail? But judging from everyone's expressions, it's not like we lost the battle. When all the snakes saw the Spirit Snake Prince next to the Spirit Snake King, they were immediately shocked. Oh my God, the Snake Prince is back. Many people are excited and happy, but there are also many people who are unhappy. Because the return of the Spirit Snake Prince will inevitably cause the Spirit Snakes on Spirit Snake Island who covet the position of the Spirit Snake King to be fearful and even suppress him. The Spirit Snake King could naturally feel the changes around him, but he didn't care. He took his son to the Spirit Snake Palace, where his wife was still hard at work hatching eggs. After the Snake King came back, he immediately followed his father to pay his respects to his mother. Princess Spirit Snake, when she heard that her son was back, she couldn't believe it. He immediately transformed into a human form and came out to see his son. Seeing her son come back intact, Queen Snake hugged her son and began to cry loudly, saying, "Son, you are finally back. My mother misses you all day long and can't sleep at night." "Queen Mother, since I'm back, you can sleep peacefully now," the Snake King said. "From now on, my father can practice with peace of mind, and I will protect you. By the way, Queen Mother, I have brought a lot of trophies, some of which are very interesting. Nourishing, my son will deliver it to you later." "Good son, so filial." Princess Ling she said, "Your Majesty, now that my son is back and has won a great victory, it's time to hold a celebration party for him." "Haha, yes, we haven't held a banquet in the Spirit Snake Palace for a long time," the Spirit Snake King sighed. Every time he came back from a war and was injured, how could he still have the energy to hold a banquet? Moreover, the couple always missed their son, and they also no thought. The Snake King also knows that the Spirit Snake royal family is gradually declining, and a grand event is needed to cheer up the nerves of the people. The Spirit Snake clan, like the Black Bear clan, has a lot of internal fighting. His return will inevitably break the existing balance. However, he doesn't care, no one can take away what belongs to him. In other words, the Jushin Suan Li in the human world is very powerful. His power is several times that of before, and he also has some mysterious techniques in his mind. The Snake King had no time to think about it before, but now he finally understood that this was the method of cultivating monsters given to him by Huo Yingzhe. With this set of cultivation methods, their Spirit Snake royal clan can continue to prosper in the future and become the king of the Spirit Snake clan. The bells of Spirit Snake Palace ring and can be heard in every corner of Spirit Snake Island. This bell is used for celebrations. Some spirit snakes already know that the Spirit Snake Prince has returned, and some spiritual snakes who are practicing do not know, but when they hear the bell, the spirit snakes who meet the status must be present, so everyone comes one after another. When we arrived at the Spirit Snake Palace, we saw an endless array of trophies from a distance. The people of the Spirit Snake clan had not seen such a grand occasion for a long time. They were stunned when they were alone, drooling over these trophies with envy. Hope to get some. But considering that they were not interested in the war, many spirit snakes were unwilling to follow the old Snake King out to fight, so they hid and practiced, so these trophies had nothing to do with them. However, what made them even more curious was why the old Snake King was so powerful and got so much loot after going out for only half a day. Perhaps, they should reconsider the team issue. The Snake King has changed into the service of the Spirit Snake Prince, and appears next to the Spirit Snake King surrounded by the sisters. The place where the banquet is held in the Spirit Snake Palace is a wide and long corridor. Although they were far away, everyone was stunned when they saw the Spirit Snake Prince next to the Spirit Snake King. Especially the elders looked a little embarrassed. They even calculated which Spirit Snake would succeed the throne after the death of the Spirit Snake King. Now the Spirit Snake Prince has appeared. Not only in terms of identity, but also in terms of his own abilities, the Spirit Snake Prince is the most powerful and the most suitable. Sitting next to the great elder of the Spirit Snake is a young man, a Spirit Snake who is older than the Snake King. However, his true body is not golden, but light yellow, and his talent is somewhat inferior to that of the Spirit Snake Prince. But among the younger generation, they are also very good. This is the Great Elder's grandson. The Great Elder has contacted other elders and reached a tacit understanding. Unexpectedly, at the last moment, Prince Spirit Snake came back. All their plans were ruined. Rationally, they did not hope to usurp the throne, but hoped that the old Snake King would be exhausted and abdicate voluntarily. In this way, not only can he legitimately obtain the position of the Spirit Snake King, but it will also not cause disagreements within the Spirit Snake clan. The young man looked at the Snake King angrily. Why didn't this distant brother die outside? Li Feng, put away your anger, the Great Elder whispered. Now it's time to welcome the Spirit Snake Prince. Some things are destined not to belong to you and me, so don't show your anger outside. Li Feng felt uncomfortable. He had sacrificed a lot to become the Spirit Snake King, but he didn't expect that he would fall short. Yes, Grandfather, Li Feng said, lowering his head and no longer looking at the eye-catching Spirit Snake King and Spirit Snake Prince. When the other tribesmen saw the reaction of the Great Elder and Li Feng, as well as the fact that the Spirit Snake Prince won the battle and got so many trophies, they all began to support the Spirit Snake King and the Spirit Snake Prince. The leader of the Red Spirit Snake clan, the brother of the current Queen Spirit Snake, also personally came with his sons and daughters to congratulate his nephew, Prince Spirit Snake, on his victory and return. As long as the Spirit Snake Prince is around, he will continue to intermarry with the Spirit Snake King lineage. The Red Spirit Snake is not good at cultivation and has a short lifespan, but it is good at medicine and alchemy. However, because it is easy to have children and the next generation will inherit the outstanding advantages of its parents, all kinds of spirit snake families like to intermarry with the Red Spirit Snake clan. His daughter is naturally worthy of the most noble Spirit Snake Prince. Secondly, there is his nephew. He is the leader of the Red Spirit Snake clan. Even if he is related, he cannot marry his daughter to an incompetent descendant of the Spirit Snake King. Li Xian, where have you been during this time? Hong Jian asked. Your mother and I are very worried about you and hope you will come back soon. Haha, isn't it? Are you busy finding a husband for your daughter among the younger generation? But he is no longer the impulsive kid he used to be. He should become more mature. Thank you, uncle, for your hard work, Li Xian said. The expression on his face was like warm sunshine. I ask your uncle to continue to support me in the future. 10 more updates, please subscribe to the official version. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1042. 1040. After hearing what his nephew said, Hong Jian knew that his nephew had some opinions about him. However, this kind of dissatisfaction is far from the point of breaking up, so Hong Jian only looks a little uncomfortable on his face, but he is not angry. That's natural, Hong Jian smiled and couldn't continue. It is estimated that his brother-in-law of the Spirit Snake King and Li Xian, the Spirit Snake Prince, talked about what happened on Spirit Snake Island. He didn't come out to help the Spirit Snake King at that time, and he looked embarrassed. At this time, spiritual snakes from other big families came over to congratulate him, so Hong Jian had no choice but to retreat and drink in silence. He thought about what good things he had at home and found some to send to his nephew as an apology. The prince of the spirit snake walked around the world and became more mature. Sometimes when he encounters some questions that are difficult to answer, he will think about how Huo Yingjia would solve such a problem. Come and go, the spirit snake prince can always deal with it calmly. At the banquet, rewards will be given to those who have made meritorious services this time. The spirit snake prince received half, and the remaining half was distributed to the spirit snake soldiers on the front line of today's war of resistance according to their merits. These people all support the Spirit Snake King, and they are even more happy to receive so many rewards. As for other people, those who want to sit back and enjoy the rewards can only watch others receiving the rewards without daring to speak. The dinner was very lively, the dancers were singing and dancing, everyone was drinking wine happily, as if drinking would allow everyone to laugh away their grudges. The Snake King has just returned and does not understand many things on Spirit Snake Island. After he completely controls Spirit Snake Island, he will settle the accounts one by one. 3 days later, the Spirit Snake King told the Snake King the general situation on Spirit Snake Island, so that he had an idea. When the Snake King began to deal with government affairs, the Spirit Snake King took the Spirit Snake Princess and the 5 unhatched eggs into seclusion together. The Snake King has to deal with political affairs in the morning, and in the afternoon he has to teach his younger brothers and sisters about spells and martial arts. These charming young ladies who were used to enjoying happiness were not willing to endure hardship at all, so the Snake King directly followed their example. If you don't study hard, your examples will be reduced. If you study hard, you can not only get a place in the Spirit Snake Palace, but also get rewards from the Snake King. With the combination of kindness and power, those sisters, and brothers began to learn. However, since learning, they found that their strength has become stronger and their spells have become stronger. They will study seriously without the urging of the Snake King. Every once in a while, the Snake King would take them to the forest to hunt and get a lot of trophies, which further encouraged them to learn spells. The Snake King opened a garden specifically for them to study. Seeing Princess Spirit Snake, the little princes were making rapid progress. Some people came to inquire about the news and even studied secretly, but it had no effect at all. The Snake King sees all this and remembers it in his heart. Haha, if you want to learn his technique, you must first break the shackles of the spiritual snake that binds them before you can learn it. It just so happens that the Snake King received this inheritance among his inheritance, so no matter who comes to inquire about it, he is not worried about being taught it. As long as his elder sister, younger brother, and younger sister all learned this set of techniques, they would be enough to deal with the internal threats from the Black Bear Spirit and the Spirit Snake clan. In this way, he can feel more at ease. Since returning to Spirit Snake Island, King Snake has dealt with government affairs in the morning, taught his sisters and brothers in the afternoon, and practiced in the evening. He is so busy every day, as if being so busy can make him forget everything in the world. He thought he would forget, but with such deep love and such love, how could he forget? It's just that He Tian no longer needs him by her side. Huo Yingjia will protect her well when she is by her side. He is redundant there. Now that he is back, he knows that his family still needs him, so the Snake King feels that it is not useless and uses this to encourage himself. 1 day, 2 days, more than 1,000 days and nights have passed before I knew it. Until one day, the water essence left by the Snake King in the palm of his hand began to fluctuate. The Snake King smiled, knowing that He Tian was now getting closer to the water. Although he couldn't see it, he could feel He Tian's joy in the water. Not all the time, only on certain days, but that's enough. At least the Snake King knew that He Tian was fine now. The Snake King has been back for several years, but his appearance has not changed. He still looks like a boy of 17 or 18 years old. For the spirit snakes, a few years is just a moment in their long lives. But for a Snake King who had just tasted love, it seemed like a long time. In order to relieve the loneliness in his heart, he worked hard and occupied 2/3 of the forest, fighting for enough living space for the spirit snake clan. After peace comes, the Snake King's marriage will be put on the agenda. The Snake King was unwilling to do so. After his father came out of seclusion, he began to retreat and did not care about worldly affairs. "Sienur, you are not young now, and it is time for you to get married," the Spirit Snake King said. "After all, your mother and concubine and I are old, it is time for you to spread the branches and leaves of our Spirit Snake royal family." The Snake King's eyes twitched, and his father had the nerve to say that in the past few years since he came back, he had gained dozens of younger brothers and sisters. What a sin! The school he bought is not enough, and it has to be divided into a kindergarten class, a juvenile class, and an adult class. "Father, I now have 263 adult brothers and sisters, and 98 underage brothers and sisters. I think you are still in the prime of your youth and your sword is not old," the Snake King said lightly, explaining from the side. His Spirit Snake royal clan is prosperous and there is no need for him to contribute. The Spirit Snake King blushed when he heard his son's words. The princess said she was pregnant this morning. He is now embarrassed to tell his son that after hatching, he will hand it over to his eldest son. They don't care about it. They are not qualified parents. Then you should practice hard," the Spirit Snake King said with shame. "I will help you with your marriage for a while. Anyway, what your uncle did before was not honest, I want to let him go." He didn't dare to refute if he wasn't honest at that time. "Thank you, Father." After the Snake King finished speaking, he went to the Holy Land of Spiritual Snake Royal Clan to start practicing. This is a bottomless cave filled with spiritual energy. There are many small caves on the edge of the cave, and there are many people from the Spirit Snake royal family practicing in them. The Snake King walked to his own training cave, set up a barrier, and practiced without any distractions. There is no time in the cave. When the Snake King opened his eyes again, his skills improved to a higher level and he decided to leave the cave. "After I came out, I realized that another 5 years had passed. A whole 10 years have passed. I wonder how she is doing?" He Tian, an ordinary human being, is now 31 years old, but the Snake King looked at the reflection in the water. Oh my God, he still has such a young face. He can't grow old even if he wants to. When he sees He Tian next time, maybe the age difference between the two is too big, and they will become the relationship between elder and junior.